Have you all ever made acid before? Well, today we're going to show you how. Stick around. Hello, Internet. Chris Cline here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. And as I stated in the opening, we're going to make some acid today. But before we do that, I want to ask that you please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, because we're going to be bringing you more content like this. And so I don't want to talk a whole lot. I want to get into this. And so what do I mean by we're going to make acid today? Well, you know, I have some devices here in front of me. I have a 707, a Roland TR-707, a Cyclone Analogic TT-303 bass bot, which is a superb clone of Roland's classic TB-303. In fact, I like this better. It's more flexible, better sequencer, sounds fantastic. It's a cool device. Arturia keystep, the original keystep, which to me, this whole line, the keystep line, are the best keyboard controllers on the market for the dollar today. They do so much. They're compact. Whenever you see people doing modular videos, or 9 times out of 10, I swear, they have one of these as a controller, or maybe the Keystep 37 or the Pro. They're fantastic. And then Waldorf's classic, the Blofeld, which has been in production now for about 15 years, wavetable synthesizer. And so this is my setup. And I'm going to go through the motions of creating an acid house track. And I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing during the process. And then once I have all my parts all fleshed out and whatnot, I'm going to go ahead and do just a quick performance. And then I'm going to take everything home and I'm going to record everything into Pro Tools at my home studio using Focusrite and knee preamplifiers. And I'm going to use a Manley compressor on the mix to give it a little more energy, to get it to pump a little bit. I'm going to stop talking and we're going to get at it, and we're going to start playing with all these wonderful instruments, and we're going to create an acid house track pretty fast. So here we go. So now that you can see everything that I have in front of me, this is what I'm going to be using today to create a real quick acid house type of song. I'm using the TR-707 today because there is some historical significance to the TR-707, in that that's what Future used when they recorded and produced acid tracks. 707 along with the 727 and a real TB-303. Now, as I had said before, I love the TT-303 from Cyclone Analogic because it sounds just as nice, if not better. It's easier to work with and has more functionality as far as sequencer is concerned. Then I have my Arturia keystep and the Waldorf Blofeld, which has been made once again for 15, 16 years, wavetable synthesizer. For the price, you can't beat it. You've seen the Iridium on our channel, and this is basically the smaller big brother to the Iridium because it's been around for such a long time. Built like a tank. And then everything is being clocked from the 707. So I have my MIDI out coming into the input of the bass bot. I have the out, which has been turned into a through, which is feeding the Arturia keystep, and the out of the keystep, of course, is going to the Blofeld. So I'm not using any kind of computer sequencer in this demonstration. I'm using all the sequencing capabilities of the 707, the bass bot, and the keystep. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and create a drum track before I do anything with the bass bot. And I'm going to do this in stair steps, if you will. I'm going to build the foundation and then bring it up to where it's a full drum track. And if that doesn't make sense, or if I'm not articulating that properly, well, I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm in step right, and I'm going to make sure that I've got the first preset cleared, or the first pattern cleared. And then all I have to do now is go into, ooh, and you know what? I've got everything turned up. So let's make sure that I have things turned down so we're not hearing things, or I can actually just mute in Pro Tools, which would probably be a little bit easier. So let's do that. I'll bring my volume back up over here on the Blofeld. So let's go ahead and make sure I've stopped there. And then we'll go into start, and we're going to choose our rim shot, and Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that pattern into slot number 2. So I'm going to downshift, copy, pattern, 1, enter. Let's make sure we have it on both. So let's do that. So that's slot 2, slot 1, go back to slot 2, and we will go back into our step right. And so I'm going to go ahead and add a hi-hat now. So let's go ahead and choose that. Let's go ahead and add an accent to that as well. So I'm going to go ahead, do that, choose accent. So we have an accent on 4, 14, and 16. Let's get it off of 16 and go to 15. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and copy that to 3. So shift, copy, pattern group, 2, enter. So that's 3, slot 3. So let's go ahead and add a kick drum. Turn that up a little bit. Feels pretty good. So we'll copy that to 4. So shift, copy, pattern. Let's go ahead and add our snare. And we can go ahead and add an accent to our snare drum. So let's do instrument. And then we definitely need to have some hand claps in there, right? I mean, come on. Why wouldn't we do that? So, pattern 5. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to play and make sure we have more patterns in here. And then I believe I have a fill on 15 that I already programmed, so there we go. All right, so now we have our drum parts. Pretty easy. So now I'm going to move over to the 303. Put it in edit mode. Make sure I'm in pattern right. So let's go ahead and do that. Clear, 1, edit. Okay, that'll be our first step. Then we'll go up, next step. And we'll add a slide, an accent to that. And then we'll go to our next step, which we will make, let's do a rest. And then we'll bring that down. And then we'll go up to our next step. We'll make that a rest. And then we'll do a slide. And let's get a little bit more happening in there. So we've got okay. Let's do this. Okay, I like where that's going. It's getting kind of squelchy and weird. And then we'll do add an accent, bring it down. Now, so now we have our bass pattern, which is in an odd meter, which is fine. Adds a little more tension. All right. So now let's add a sequence with the key step. So now I'm going to do something in 5 with the Blofeld and the key step. So let me go ahead and punch that in. It doesn't feel like it got my rest. So let me go ahead and do it again. There we go. Now let's hear it all together. Okay, let me space those notes out a little bit more. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, let's listen to it in the mix. All right, so our rhythms are kind of all over the place, but it's a lot of fun because it's adding a lot of weird tension. So what I'm going to do now is just bring the cutoff and the resonance down. I'm going to turn down the Blofeld over here because I'm going to go ahead and kind of do everything in real time, right? Let's make sure I'm in pattern play. That's ready to go. That's ready to go. And then I can show you how we can manipulate the key of the TT303 because we can actually do things to the pattern in real time, which is really, really cool. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm gonna go ahead and press play. Start bringing the Blofeld. Start that over real fast. I did something weird. I know exactly what I did. I need to be in play. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to all of our elements right now. And then once I'm done with this little performance, I'm not going to take too long. Please remember that I'm going to actually take home what I've done and I'm going to re-record it in my home studio and mix it at home. I'm not going to edit any of these patterns. I'm not going to edit anything in Pro Tools. I'm going to go ahead and do another performance on the fly at home. I will add some effects in Pro Tools though, some delay, a little bit of room to give it a little more space. And then the last part of my chain will be a Manley new mu compressor to kind of glue everything together. So let me go ahead and begin this performance, and here we go. So I hope that was as fun for you as it was for me. I'm curious to hear your comments down below, especially on the mix after I had created everything in the store at Alamo Music. Curious to hear what you're doing as well. If you're making acid house tracks or using similar devices, if you are working outside of the box more and more, and what I mean by that is you're not relying on your DAW or some sort of computer-based sequencer. Or plugins, virtual instruments. Want to know more about your experiences using hardware. Are you experiencing MIDI issues, timing issues, drift, tuning issues, whatever. I want to hear about what you're doing too, so please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed to us, one more time, please do though by pressing the subscribe button down below, and be sure to check out our guitar, piano, bass guitar and accordion channels as well. There might be some content that some of you out there are interested in. But we are going to be back. Let's keep the comments civil and nice. Let's have a nice open discussion and continue creating content. Let's continue being safe to each other. And until next time, see you around.